Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. American Pickers, did something tragic happen to Danielle Colby? Ever since the death of Frank Fritz, following his departure from American Pickers, fans were starting to worry that they would lose another member of the show. Fans also feared Danielle Colby, who has been dubbed the Queen of Rust, would be leaving the show. In fact, some fans started to fear something serious had happened to her. Some recent updates have shed some light on the situation. Some fans feared the worst for the Queen of Rust. American Pickers revolves around a pair of co-hosts, including series creator Mike Wolf, traveling around the United States to find various antiques and hidden treasures. On the show, Danielle Colby runs the office of Wolf's business, Antique Archaeology. Often the hosts follow leads that Colby has given them. Colby was a friend of Wolf's before the show came out. In fact, it's believed she was hired for the antique shop once the show was picked up by History Channel. However, fans are starting to worry they've seen the last of Colby on the show. The TV personality briefly took a break from the show during season 23 and was even the subject of a recent death hoax. When reports of her death first came out, Colby herself took to social media to dispel these rumors. She quoted Mark Twain, writing, "The report of my death was an exaggeration." She then added a more personal touch with, "Also please use a better photo when I do actually die." American Pickers fans might not have seen the last of Danielle Colby. Some fans still thought Colby's departure could be due to less serious reasons. Others simply thought her work as a dancer or her fashion boutique, 4 miles to Memphis, would keep her too busy to work on the show. That said, there are a few reasons fans should expect Colby to return for season 26 on the show. Back in early October, Colby took to Instagram to share, "All new American Pickers tonight, see you there." In the accompanying photo, Colby could be seen standing with other cast members on the show. Other posts have featured her talking about filming for the show. As noted by Distractify, the network still has Colby's bio on its official website, suggesting she's here to stay. As it reads, Danielle Colby is a lover and collector of all things vintage. She continues to unearth forgotten histories of people and objects from all over the world. Danielle is drawn to anything that tells a story. In the dim glow of the antique archaeology shop, a sense of quiet unease hung over the place. The hum of the fluorescent lights buzzed louder than usual, and the room seemed hollow without the usual laughter and banter. Danielle Colby, the spirited and unconventional picker who brought life to the store, hadn't been seen for days. Mike Wolf and Robbie Wolf exchanged worried glances, their usual brotherly ribbing subdued as they went through the store. The two had never seen Danielle miss this much time without at least a word or a quirky message. She was more than just their office manager. She was a loyal friend, a sister in arms, and a critical part of their unique family. Rumors had started swirling around the small town. People said she'd been in an accident, that she packed up and left town, and even that she'd had a falling out with Mike and Robbie. Some even whispered that maybe Danielle had simply had enough of life behind the desk, away from the thrilling chases of the pick. "Where do you think she could be?" Robbie asked, his brow furrowed in concern. "Wish I knew," Mike muttered, his tone unusually somber. "I've tried calling her cell, texting, reaching out to mutual friends, but it's like she's just vanished." They'd left voicemails, emails, even considered stopping by her house, but Danielle had a way of making sure her privacy was respected when she wanted it. Normally, they'd let her be if she needed a few days of solitude, but this was different. Mike's memory drifted back to the last conversation he'd had with Danielle, only about a week before. They'd been on a pick together in a dusty old barn up in Iowa. It was a pretty typical day, complete with Danielle's wide smile and quirky dance moves whenever she found a vintage jukebox or a colorful 1960s motorcycle helmet. Yet, beneath the surface, Mike had sensed something off. Her laughs had felt a little too forced, and her silences a little too long. He asked her about it, and she brushed him off with her typical Danielle humor, making light of whatever weighed her down. But now he wondered, had something serious been going on, something she hadn't wanted to share? The doorbell jingled suddenly, pulling Mike and Robbie from their thoughts. A familiar figure walked in. Though her face was uncharacteristically serious, Danielle's friend Beth. She looked around as though making sure they were alone before stepping up to the counter. "I need to talk to you guys," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "About Danielle." Mike's heart sank. "What's going on? Is she okay?" Beth took a shaky breath. "She's going through something rough. I can't tell you the details, it's her story to tell. But I'm here because she wanted me to come and let you know she's okay. She just needs some time." Mike and Robbie exchanged glances. This was the most they'd heard in days, but it only deepened their worry. Beth hesitated, looking at the two men, obviously torn about what she could share. Finally, she seemed to make up her mind. "Danielle's been dealing with, well, some family issues. They're things she thought were behind her, but sometimes the past doesn't stay buried. She's been feeling the weight of it lately, that's all I can really say." The two brothers were silent, processing this new information. Neither of them had realized Danielle was dealing with family troubles. She'd always seemed to handle the rough edges of life with such poise, laughing in the face of hardship. But the more they thought about it, the more they remembered the small signs they'd been too caught up in their own lives to notice. Beth continued, "She told me to tell you guys not to worry, that she'll be back. She just needs to clear her head." Mike nodded slowly. He understood. Everyone needed space sometimes, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was at play. Danielle was tough as nails, but everyone had their breaking point. "Thanks for telling us, Beth," he said. "But if she needs anything, or if you need anything, just reach out, all right? We're here for her." Beth nodded, visibly relieved. "I'll pass the message along. She cares about you guys too, you know. This place, it's her home as much as yours." Over the next few days, Mike and Robbie did their best to focus on work, taking a few solo road trips and meeting with sellers. But the empty desk at Antique Archaeology loomed over them as a constant reminder of Danielle's absence. Every trinket, every piece of vintage jewelry they picked up made them think of her eclectic style and her keen eye. One afternoon, as Mike was sifting through the latest batch of vintage signs they'd acquired, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, his heart racing when he saw Danielle's name. The message was short but comforting. "I'm okay, just needed to breathe for a bit. Back soon." Mike felt a weight lift off his chest. Though her words were few, he could tell they were genuine. She didn't go into details, and he knew better than to press her. Danielle would open up when she was ready, and until then, he'd respect her need for space. A week later, Danielle finally returned. She walked into the shop with her usual swagger, though her eyes seemed to carry a depth they hadn't before. She hugged Mike and Robbie tightly, the quiet strength in her embrace saying more than words could. "I missed you guys," she said, her voice soft but steady. "Missed you too, Donnie," Mike replied, his own voice thick with relief. They didn't ask questions. Instead, they fell back into their familiar rhythm, and soon, laughter and playful banter filled the store once more. But things felt different. Not in a bad way, but in a way that reminded each of them just how precious their friendship was. As they headed out on another road trip together, Danielle turned to Mike, her expression thoughtful. "You know, sometimes life throws things at you to remind you what really matters. And this place, this crazy, dusty, wonderful place, it matters to me." Mike nodded, understanding. They might be on a mission to uncover the past, to dig up artifacts from forgotten eras, but it was the people who shared those moments with them that made it all worthwhile. And though none of them spoke it aloud, they knew that, no matter what the future held, they would face it together, because at the end of the day, they were more than just pickers, they were family. And for family, you always found a way back.